See here. I'm not seeing the live feed. There it is. What? Oh, go. All right. So yes, I'm live, and my cats are making a ruckus. I'm gonna see who shows up here. Effectively, one person is watching, which is me. So, because this is going to be archived and shown, I'm going to just say that I'm going to have myself a root beer and doing this live thing because my channel needs watch hours. It's its primary need at the moment. And yeah, just gonna see who shows up as I sit here and what I'm actually doing is going through my blog and sharing it on X, formerly Twitter, because that's a thing. And the more I do that, the more views I get on that blog, and hopefully the more, the more money I make. Although, my blogs, all six of them have never been a major source of income, and that's a thing. I've made money off of them, not like $0, but the making money off of them thing, has always been, it's hard to do. You can hear my cats in the background here. Hmm. Sophia, hi. Hit it from the back. What does that mean? You look beautiful. Who are you talking to? I'm not Spanish. We have a hello from India. We have a WTF. What is going on here is that I am trying to get watch hours. So I'm doing a live stream. Normally people ask me questions. I don't know why. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Richard Neal. I live in Los Angeles, and yes, I am close enough to the fires to be keeping an eye on them, but far enough away from the fires so that uh, I shouldn't evacuate. There's like 20. Dylan Tribalwood. My grandfather has a dementia. She can't drive anymore, and dementia. And the other day, he had a blackout in her neighborhood, and she almost shot the guy. Where do you live, Dylan? I mean, seriously. 19 people watching now. Somebody's there. How many of you guys are subscribers? Cherry olive, avocado olive. Delicious, yes. North Cal, okay. Looks like the governor is going to get caught with his hand in the cookie jar. You know, dude, this is not the time. I mean, this is a time to be getting things done, not. Um, oh, North Carolina, okay. Well, I mean, I don't think I've ever been there, but I'd have to look on the map to see. I haven't left the state of California in more than 10 years. And even then, I went to Missouri. The name fits. They're Amish people in misery there. It's cold as ish. Yes. Yes, you have cold where you live. Not so much in LA. I mean, we think 40 degrees is cold. It's just it's just incredible. And Bear is sneezing. He's not feeling good. It's 18. Yeah, you have cold where you live. We don't have cold where I live. If you want to see cold in California, you drive to the mountains. I mean, the great thing about California is there's times of the year where you can go skiing in the morning and be surfing by nightfall. All right? So it's like, yeah, you can get your 2 hours of skiing in, 3 hours of skiing, literally pack up your car, drive down to the beach, and be in the water before the sun goes down. It is awesome. At least you can fish all year long. Um, it depends really on what you want to fish for. I mean, yeah, by me there is a lake where you can fish, although the quality there is pretty low. Um, there's pretty much tilapia fishing all year round in California. That's what you have over in uh, the Salton Sea. If you want trout, most of the trout you get here is farm trout, and farm trout makes really inferior eating. So if you're fishing to consume, uh, it's not really worth it. Okay, here's Bear. There's my berry bear. And to you steal up to 999 and it's not a crime. Yeah, it is a crime, it's just not a felony. And that's very controversial and a very bad idea. Bear, come on. What are you doing, Bear? Bear? Oh, Bear. Respiratory problems with this one. Yes, my little bear. Yeah, a lot of businesses have actually shut down because looting has become such an issue. And yeah, it was a terrible idea. Okay, but we need to do things to change the demographic here. The cost of living in California is terrible. It's, believe it or not, even with the economy apparently very good, it's still hard to get a job. Businesses are still closing. I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, you can say that your 99-cent store is gone and your big lots. I did a video about the big lots near me going, and that was, I had been going there for decades since it was a pick and save, and that was really terrible. But I mean, the restaurants leaving California is the worst part of it because we're a tourist town, Los Angeles, and being a tourist town, you expect there to be interesting places to eat, not necessarily good, but interesting. And that is leaving us. So we're going to lose a lot of tourist attractions. Watch any anime. Okay, so when I was a young boy, when I watched the most anime, holy big back. What are you talking about, bro? Is why the contests continents separated. Yeah, okay. When I was a when I was a young man, we called it Japanimation, and I was a big Robotech fan. And by Robotech, I mean the Macross Robotech, which is the before the destruction of the SDF-1. If you're familiar with it, I mean I've seen Cowboy Bebop and I've seen Dragon Ball Z and I've watched all kinds of animes. They're not a big thing with me. I mean, of course, Akira, which I don't know if you would even think of that as anime, is incredible, and Princess Mononoke is a classic as well. But that's just, I'm on a different channel on Ram Street Theater. I'm a film reviewer, so I do watch a lot of movies. But anime, I mean, it takes a long time, and I don't know if there's much of an audience. I have tattoos of Luffy from One Piece. I have Ghana and Vegeta. Oh, Gohan and Vegeta. Okay, why does Krillin keep getting killed, bro? What is up with that? It's like, oh, we brought the Dragon Balls together. The dragon sees Goku and is like, bro, Krillin get killed again? What's up with that? If you could choose one of your video formats to blow up in popularity across all channels, which one would it be and why? Formats? Not really sure what you mean by that. Um, Videos for this channel are extremely easy to make. All right, I have a list of, it's around 200 now. It started as 250 questions, uh, philosophical questions, and those philosophical questions have meant really good numbers for me. All right. One of the things I would like to do more of, but I don't because of the cost of it, is the videos where I make drinks. Because in the last month, my most popular video was the rum and cola video, and it's like I would really like to do things like work on my screwdriver, work on my. I'd like to make a Manhattan or a Long Island iced tea. I've never done that. One thing you guys need to know: I've had a very strange relationship with alcohol. See, I was born without enough opiate receptors to really get much of a buzz out of alcohol. So, whereas I do drink and drinking has an impact, it's not much of an impact. So, I can really pound it and not get terribly drunk. And by not get terribly drunk, I don't mean I could pound 10 beers and go drive. I wouldn't do that. But I mean, my judgment isn't really all that impaired after 10 beers. All right. So I was the designated driver at my 21st birthday. My father took me to a pub. It was a pub I went to all the time, but I never drank there. I've never ordered a drink at a restaurant. So I'm fascinated by bartending. I would love to be able to, just mix it like it's no tomorrow. But that, you know, it's a cost thing because, like, I don't have vermouth. I can't make a martini. And once you make a martini, you've made that video. So now you've got vermouth. So, I mean, even if I were making the drinking videos every day, I still wouldn't be able to do that many drinks. It's like Kenny from South Park? Dude, are you high? What do you think, Bear? Is he high? We're down to 6 people watching. That's not a bad number for me, though. Favorite TV show of all time? That would be Star Trek: The Next Generation. Okay, followed by Robotech. Uh, Dylan Treblewood is indeed high. That's probably good for watching this live stream. I mean, my last one I did from my computer. This is the third time I've been live, and I'm just seeing what's up. We're now down to 4 people watching. So this live stream, it started out pretty big and started going really small. So in a perfect world, you would be making mixed drinks videos interesting. I'll stay with you, Bubba. Look, in a perfect world, I would do a lot of things. Okay, I would primarily be writing. That's what I like doing. I have a couple of scripts I'm trying to market right now, and I would love to make those movies. My primary thing on YouTube is that I am a film reviewer, okay, on Random Street Theater. This channel is my second largest channel, and because every now and again I get a video with thousands of views, I'm trying to get it over the monetization line, all right? That's the whole point of this. I'm doing live streams, trying to do a couple of them. Uh, YouTube updates every Monday, how many watch hours you get. I don't know if live streams even count. So don't know if I'm going to be doing these next week, but I'm definitely trying to see if they work. About to go into office. Yeah, dude, like, it's you and one other guy watching right now. This was not a good time, or at least not a good idea. Yes, sniff my ear. Sniff my ear, bear. So I see 4 of you. Who's still watching? Hmm? Would you just sell the script, or would you like to direct them as well? Selling them would definitely be enough. And look, I started with live action plays, and my live action plays are pretty bizarre. Most of my writing is a little on the odd side anyway. I wouldn't mind directing, but it's not actually what I had in mind when I wrote them. I mean, look, one of the things I did in college was I wrote a novel. I don't know if it's very good. I could never get any feedback, you know, but I like to write. I write every day. And mostly I write letters. That's why you see I have a blog called Letters to Cassie and Other Folks that is letters. So, I mean, directing as a writer, you kind of have to let the director do their thing, and the director is never going to be perfectly true to your vision. Only a really good director can see what the writer intends, but that's just a thing. So I mean, I wouldn't mind trying my hand at directing, but uh, if I could just sell my work, I would be happy. So, for all of you people watching, what's your favorite TV show? I got asked that. I'd like to know the answer. Any of you X File fans in here? I ran into a woman or a person or an entity, maybe, pretending to be Gillian Anderson from X Files. And I don't know if you know what's going on with Gillian, but She has been really pushing the "hello, I'm actually really hot" thing for the last couple of years. And she's been married twice, from what I read in her bio, but not currently, so she is single. But every now and again, a person pretending to be a hot chick tries to get me to give them money. And it's like, yeah, normally like Gillian Anderson, is it Gillian or Jillian? Doesn't matter. Anyway, she probably doesn't need my money. So this person didn't ask for any money, but you know, it was just I don't think we had a conversation long enough. I think she realized I don't have money to give her. So, but that's a common scheme. Happens all the time. Liquid Diet. Hello, Richard. Good to see you live in the flesh. Um, Good to see you, bro. Are you a common subscriber? I don't remember you leaving me a lot of comments. I mean, look, dude. That's. I mean, for those of you uninitiated, for every 1,000 subscribers I get on YouTube, I purchase a bracelet from 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. So I have linked my success to a greater world. And one thing I've said many a time in multiple videos is that one of the things I would do if I were, a millionaire, is I would own vineyards. And I would want to have a vineyard in every state, really, but you'd find a rural area near a small, sleepy town that is suffering from a lack of population, and you find something that grows locally to make wine out of. And why do you do this? You do this to support this small town. And I mean, it's like the American persimmon, for example, is something that cannot be marketed because the second it's ripe, it's very much like a huckleberry. It basically turns to mush. So you could make jam out of them, you could make alcohol out of them, you could make preserves out of them, but you cannot sell them in stores. The persimmons we see are Asian persimmons. So harvesting these things commercially is very difficult. But the point would be, to bring commerce to these small towns because small town America is dying. And that's one of those big problems with the fires I have here in my native California is that, really, um, really, it's everybody wants to live in LA. More people live on average. I mean, there are more people in LA County than there are living in the average state. Okay, we're the most populous state in the country, California, and everybody lives in LA, and that's because there's a big economy here. But the big economy can't support the very large population, so people go where there are jobs. One of the things that happened in in the world was that the diesel engine killed the steam engine. And the steam engine used to have railroads that you had to stop and get water and fuel because they couldn't last as long. Steam couldn't go as far as diesel on one tank. So there were these places that this is where you stop to refresh your train. That's just what you do. And the entire town became a thing because of that. And then when the steam engine was phased out, those towns died. Do you have a kitten on your face? Just came in, lol, super cute. And I love what you're doing with the bracelet support. This is Bear. Okay, he has a name. And Bear is a shoulder sitter. He very much, the particular cat he is, appears to be a very sociable breed. And I mean, his mother, who is also a cat of mine, her favorite place in the world is right here in the crook of my arm. I've spent hours with her, coming in and sitting on my arm. So Bear, which is her son, okay, Bear here, loves to be social. He loves to be handled. He's a very sociable cat. So he comes out and he likes to sit on my shoulder and see what I'm doing. Right, Bear? You want to sniff my ear again? Come here. Oh, so sweet, love it. Hi, Bear. Yeah, his mother's name is Wolf. I call her my Wolfie Wolf. Like I say, he does have a respiratory. His mother doesn't have it, but he does. Um, has a respiratory problem, so he sneezes a lot. He may not be feeling the best right now. But yeah, yeah, I'm a cat. Well, I'm an animal person. I mean, look, when I was a young man, I had a horse. My mother had a horse, and I was known for. I was never much of a rider, but I had a blood bay, and she was a wonderful horse. Have you ever published any of your writings on Amazon or any other e-reader platform? No, I have not. And the reason for that is that I'm just not popular enough to do stuff like that. Okay, so um, I know you guys really can't see it that well. I don't know, you know, in Lord. Whoa, that is Bear's mom, Wolf. Yeah, she's not black. She's black bear, black striped. So very beautiful cat. Do you need to give him respiratory treatments? That's hard to do. No, he seems to be okay. I have to clean his nose a lot. I mean, he's not the worst off of my animals right now. I tell you, I have one cat that has a litter, and she's got three kittens that survived, I believe, out of five. And one of them, she just moved her kittens. They do that periodically. And one of them, I looked at it, its eyes should have been open and they weren't. And so I gave it a close look, and it was like a geyser going off, just the snot that came out of this thing's eye. So he's fairly healthy. Bear is fairly healthy, but I've got at least one animal that is not doing well. And, you know, it's just one of those things. But I mean, if I have to, I will find a home for Bear. I don't want to. I want to keep Bear. Bear loves me. I love him. It's he's probably big enough so that he cannot be what's called a fader. It's common with cats, particularly cats that have a close genetic code, for them to become faders. They just stop eating, and their body grows cold, and then they pass away. And I've seen that quite a lot. So, you know, but Bear here, he's nice and warm, and he's a very healthy animal, other than the respiratory issues. Every now and again, I find him, and he's just snotting all over the place. But he's just like his mama, very loving animal. People say Wolf is looks more like a dog than a cat, but I mean, she's just kind of got that. Like, be honest with you, my cats have always been kind of dog-like. They tend to be a little more sociable because I'm very sociable with them. I'm the kind of person that handles his animals. So it's not uncommon for you to see a cat sitting on my shoulder or sitting in my lap. It's a normal thing. And I mean, look, when I was more active, when I had more of a social life, I would go to my friend's house, and the first thing that would happen would be the family dogs would come running out the door as soon as they saw me there, because you know I love animals, so I sit there and I pet the dogs, and that's just what I do. Got too many open tabs here. Okay, 6 people watching. I think 2 of them are me at this point. Sounds like you're a caring and doing so well with them. I'm a dog person with a cat who thinks he lives with me. Yeah, cats are like that. I mean, look, when I was, must have been more than 10 years ago now, I was literally coming out of my house one day and going to work, and I have a blind neighbor. Don't worry about 6, you start somewhere. 7 now. I have a blind neighbor. So this blind neighbor was walking with his wife, and behind him was this big chocolate Labrador. And I said, "That's a really big dog you got there." And he goes, "It ain't my dog." So I put it, took the dog, and I put it in my backyard. We're down to 5. I put it in my backyard, and every day I'd go walking with this big chocolate Labrador. I called him Pork Chop. He was 130 pounds. And I would ask everyone I met, "Have you ever seen this dog before?" But when I found the animal, he was in really bad shape. He had a huge bite mark on his face. When I combed him, his fur came out. And I did not see them, but I gave him dewormer, and my brother said that the worms that came out of him were huge. And the hair falling out is likely a result of worms. It's one of those things you have to understand, is that worms can cause hair loss in dogs and in humans, I believe. But I mean, I've never seen it in humans. I've only seen it in dogs. So, and also, worms tend to get into the body through fleas. So, when the cats clean themselves for the fleas of the dog, that's how they get worms. So that's a thing. So, I mean, I had this dog for maybe a year or so before he passed on. I believe he was poisoned by one of my neighbors. I have really crappy neighbors, but he had been used as what was called a bait animal, so to test the fighting instincts of pit bulls. And I think he was just so sick that they let him go. Um, and after that, I took care of him as best I could. It was kind of expensive. I think I spent more than $2,000 uh, getting him patched up. But that was Pork Chop. And I tell you this much: everybody loved Pork Chop. Whenever I went anywhere and I brought Pork Chop with me, everyone was like, they would just smile when they heard his name. But I mean, he was a really big dog, so I called him Pork Chop the Bear Dog. And I had another dog at the time named Gus. He was 105 pounds. He was a Doberman Pinscher. He was not my dog, so to speak. He was my father's dog, but my father gave him to my sister, which meant he was my brother's dog. But August did not know he was my brother's dog. August thought he was my dog. My brother and I would go into the backyard, and August would go get his basic toy, or his favorite toy, and he'd run up to us, and my brother would take it to play with him, and Gus would just look at him and be like, "Not so much. Not so much, bro." You know, and people would be like, "Well, who fed him?" My brother fed him. Who walked him? Most of the time, my brother walked him. I don't know then. That dog was weird. Yeah, well, it's just when I played with him, he enjoyed it a lot more. Okay, so far this looks like it's going to be a shorter live stream. Most of my two previous live streams ran into the 2 hour mark, but you know, not a lot of people watching today. I mean, there are six of you now. That includes me and Bear. Right, Bear? You don't even have your eyes open. Yes, he's happy. Storm is causing trouble, though. Here too, Imejasi Yonbro. What's up, Imejasi Yonbro? How do you pronounce that? I'm taking my furry kiddo for a walk. Sorry, not tons here. Don't give up. Eh. Look, of all the terrible things that have happened to me on YouTube, if I haven't given up by now, I'm not giving up. I mean, I'm pushing this as hard as I possibly can. So, like I say, guys, I mean, I know I'm rambling here, and people have said they love to hear me talk, but uh, you want me to keep doing this? I kind of need some questions. I'm not good at this live streaming, guys. If you guys got ideas on what we can do for streaming, I am all ears at the moment. Well, I'm all eyes because I'm going to read it, but I used to follow this one guy until he turned into a real right wing psychopath who thought that COVID was a hoax. And he would every morning he would come out and he'd have coffee with him, and we couldn't see his face. He would just talk. But he had almost 100,000 subscribers, and that's kind of the threshold for being a professional YouTuber is that silver play button. 100,000 subscribers, silver play button. That's what you need. I'm just making comments in my own videos in order to make sure that the feed keeps going. Okay, let's see. Do you value humor? I made a joke one time, and your response made me think you weren't much into that. Uh, I may not have known it was a joke. 30% of your communication is lost from spoken to writing. In fact, the only perfect writing language is High Latin because there is apparently a tense for every emotion. And, like Italian and French, the romantic languages, are a shift from Latin. So I may not have known it was a joke. One of the things you do to identify things as a joke is you write lol afterwards. But I'm something of a comedian. You may have seen my hydration comedy videos, and they're not that popular, but people have said I should do stand up. Well, your response was, I thought I might have been a joke. And that was the end of it, lol. Okay, look, there are 800 of you, and there's one of me, so. And there's a difference between how your name is displayed in this than it is in comments. So, I mean, I have no idea who you are. Unless you comment regularly. Yeah, I first subscribed because I took your drink video of dry humor. Eh, any reason for you to be here? I mean, look, I don't know what to do with this channel. It's okay, I'm not being critical, just making conversation. Look, it's okay to be critical too, you know, I mean, even the rudest feedback I've gotten has been feedback I've taken something out of. You know, and if you look at the comment section on a lot of my videos, there's some really rude people. You know, every now and again I pick a patrol and they leave rude comments on every one of my videos. And, you know, it's like, yeah, eventually they just get tired and go away. And, you know, I wish they wouldn't get tired because I'd love to have 50 trolls writing rude comments on my videos because every comment is a good comment. Your videos feel like hanging out with a friend, very casual, and I like that. Well, okay, thanks. I mean, yeah. Look, I have the gift of gab. My Irish side is responsible for that, they say. And my Hebrew side is responsible for my vast stores of useless information. So, yeah, I mean, people have said they could listen to me for hours and not get bored, which is a good thing when you're a YouTuber. I mean, like I say, one day I sat there and I said, I have all this expired soda. What do I do with it? So I started drinking in my videos to use up my booze and finish off that soda. So that's a thing I do. And one of the things I did is I went out there and I found a list of 250 philosophical questions. And I said, all right, you know, I'm going to make a video where I drink normally some kind of alcohol and I answer each one of these questions. No prep. I don't sit there and research it beforehand. I just walk in there and I read the question, I cross it off the paper, and I start talking. And you know, I mean, that's a thing. And if that list goes away, I'm sure I can find other lists. I mean, it's not impossible. There are actually decks of cards you can get where they have questions for like dating, breaking the ice. And that's a thing you can do. You can actually just you get this box of cards and you know, you go out on a date and say, "Okay, here's our box of cards to get to know each other." And we open up the box and we pull out a question and it's okay, here's a question for us to answer. And what those questions are like, I personally don't know, but they are questions. 6 people watching, 7 likes, and the conversation is drying up. Come on, guys. This all depends on you. If you don't have anything, I mean, I guess I could talk all day, but I don't have a lot of nice things to say right now. I mean, you guys been watching the news? What do you think of Pete Hegseth? My name is. I'm just saying. but my name is Robert. I'm in Ohio. Been subscribed for about a year, I think. Cool, Robert. I believe I have a cousin in Ohio, and she's older than me. And here is Stormy. Storm, Storm, sweetheart. There's her little tail. Yeah, I have too many cats. But I still need to get Storm fixed here. She's big enough, but I mean, the act of getting them fixed. In California, we have a great service, it's a drive through. You show up in the morning with your cat in a carrier, you drop your cat off, you show up in the evening, your cat has been fixed, and you're short $300. They'll also give you a number of shots and a microchip. So it's a good thing. So Robert, um, anytime you want to leave a joke in the comment section, that's perfectly fine. But do understand, I'm a human being. I make mistakes. One person left me a comment. They said, to paraphrase Butthead, in all the history of all, something along the lines of, in all the history of all the things that have ever sucked, this sucks the most. And I was like, enough about your mom. And he goes, I was talking about your situation. I was like, oh, sorry. I mean, yeah, I'm a comedian. I make jokes. And one of the things I actually do is I make jokes where I make a funny response to a statement on YouTube. And that's just, that's one of those things, you can make a joke. Okay, we're down to three. There's only one of you now. One person watching. Who is it? Who's watching? Leave me an emoji. Robert, okay, you're still watching. You did a video reading troll comments, didn't you? I think I did. I remember doing that. Could be wrong. You do a lot of videos, bro. I can't tell you how many videos I have to render right now. Okay, so, yeah. YouTube comment. To quote the ancient philosopher Butthead, this sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before. Reply. But enough about your mom. That's what that looks like. And this is a photograph of a street outside of a homeless shelter that had been opened because of COVID that I was working at. So I used a false color. For those of you, yes, Robert, the two people who are now watching, you at least think that's funny. The one right next to it is this one. Coffee spelled backwards is eafuck, because until I've had my coffee, I don't give an eafuck about anything. I did not write that joke. Somebody else wrote that joke. And I thought it was funny, so I kept it. Now, this is another one I found. Bees don't waste their time explaining to flies why flowers taste or that flowers taste better than ish. YouTube doesn't like swearing, so ish. But I mean it's HI exclamation point T. Most of my jokes are about Trump, honestly. He just gives me so much to work with. I know that that's not a popular title, but like this one here. A man goes to the military supply and says, "I need a gas mask." The clerk at the desk says, "Why would that be?" The man says, "I'm a pilot on Air Fart One," says the man. "Don't you mean Air Force One?" the clerk asks. "Didn't you hear?" asked the man. "Donald Trump was reelected." He is famously gassy because of his diet of fast food. I could listen to Trump jokes myself. Well, Robert, I mean, do you mean could or do you mean couldn't? Because I am known for my Trump jokes. I got my favorite Trump joke here. This is a comic I drew back in 2016, and it's here's Donald, and here's a Native American, and here's the youth of America. There's the Statue of Liberty, and the native is saying, "We call him Shitting Bull." So yes, that's my favorite Trump joke. Uh, you know, a lot of people think that's funny. I did another one where I said, because I noticed Donald Trump was wearing Donald Trump brand ties, and they're made in China, but I mean, like one of them looked like he was wearing a candy cane. It was just, and I was like, God, those ties are god awful. And then I wrote something online in the Facebook group Trump haters, and I go, does anyone else think Trump's ties are god awful? And someone says yeah, so I actually wrote a comic where I drew somebody holding that particular tie, and he says to the guy, could these those political cartoons with jokes are good. Yeah, I don't draw anymore. I want to get back to it, but I've got so much depression to deal with. But yeah, I mean, so the guy's holding one of Donald Trump's ties, and he's talking to another guy, and he says, "Could Donald Trump's ties get any more obnoxious?" The guy says back, "He could wear them." So yeah, all right, I'm down to three people now. Yeah, this is not almost at the 1 hour mark, but down to three people. This is probably the worst live stream I've ever had. It may be a shorter one. It may only go to an hour. I mean, I'm reasonably sure. Uh, I got some MSNBC to watch. Joe Biden has left us a message on CNN. More coverage of the fire that may destroy my home. I tell you, yeah, it's terrifying. I mean, I've been in some very dangerous situations in my life. There's another one. Did you seriously fart, Storm? There's another one. It's not anywhere close to me, but there's another fire. This is the fire map, okay? And I can zoom out, and you can see all four fires that are currently threatening Los Angeles. One's right here, or you can't see the mouse. One's right here, one's right here, one's right here, one's right here, and one is all the way over here. Okay, and I am actually between these two fires, and it even shows a fire scooper here on the map. I don't know if I can illustrate that, but I think it disappears if I get too close. Yeah, it disappears. No, it just keeps getting smaller. So yeah, so here's the fire scooper. Here's the fire scooper, and here's the big fire. That's the one that is most likely to destroy my home. So you obviously can't see that well, but um, you know, this is the evacuation zone, and this is the heart of the fire. And it looks like it's retreated from the 210 freeway, so we're doing good. But we don't know with the wind. So it's just, yeah. I mean, it's not a comfortable place to be. You're near L.A. Yeah, yeah. I'm a Los Angelino. I live in L.A. County. I live near the Bay Area, Northern California, or I lived near the Bay. Yeah, okay. So probably pretty stressed out. Sorry, man. That sucks. Yeah, dude. I have a lot of problems. I need to find a job. I live every day though as if I'm not gonna find a job because I mean, God, the last job I interviewed for was such a joke. It didn't pay well, and they're like, "Well, we want you to, work out 4 days a week because we need you to be big and brawny," which I'm pretty big. People are afraid of me, but I would have to buy my own uniforms, which is a black suit, and I'm just like, you know, if I had known that before I applied, I wouldn't have applied. But I mean, I guess it would be better to have that job than not. But I had technical issues during the interview. It was an online interview, and they were like, nah, you're distracted. I had so much problems finding work out there. Yeah, the thing about LA is that it's easy to lose a job, it's hard to get a job, and everybody out here needs a job. Oh, there's my caramel. Hello, Filthy Monster. So I told a friend earlier today, if jobs are like gas masks, if you absolutely needed a gas mask, it didn't matter how terrible a gas mask was, you'd go and you'd take that gas mask, right? You know, if somebody had thrown up in a gas mask and left it to rot, but you needed a gas mask, you're going to take that gas mask and you're going to clean it up and you're going to put it on your face. And you know what? If the gas is coming, you're going to put that thing on your face with a rotting vomit in there because otherwise you're going to die. That's the world we live in. Jobs are like that, so they can suck. I had no idea it was like that with jobs. And so, as soon as I got a job, I saved as much as I could and moved. Yeah, I mean, look, my cousin has told me, because I actually got an evacuation order, or I got an evacuation warning, which meant they said, okay, you might need to evacuate. And it turned out that this was a false alarm. They did not mean to send the order to my area. But when I found this out, I actually went online. I told all my friends because I was kind of freaking out about it. And One of my friends actually said, "You should come and live out. You should sell your house. You should come live out with me because it's easy to get a job out here. You know, there aren't a lot of people, so it's like you either have a job or you don't, and they don't fire you because they can't replace you. Los Angeles, there are just so many people out there. I actually applied for a job, and they were like, yeah, you worked for one of the companies that we purchased, but that doesn't matter because um, it doesn't matter because we've sealed the records. So whatever happened with you and them is not going to make a difference. I still didn't get that job. It's still possible they could hire me, but not for that particular position. And I mean, yeah. One of the things I do, I send letters to Governor Newsom, and those letters are online. They're on letters to Cassie and other folks, and I say what you need to do is you need to beef up the communities outside of Los Angeles, like California City, because you know California City is going to be able to fill jobs as soon as those jobs open because everybody there needs a job. It's primarily a retirement community. Yes, exactly. On top of jobs, cost of living is easier too. I don't miss California. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, like my last job was like 18 bucks an hour, I think, and would have made me doing pretty well in most of the country. Not in California. California, you're not making $50,000 a year. You're starving. I mean, that's just how it is. At least L.A. Now, I mean, it's really easy to survive on $50,000 a year out in like Salton City, but there are no jobs out in Salton City. So if you're going to live out there, you're going to commute. And that's just one of those things. So one of the ideas I came out with was we should build the infrastructure for recycling in California City. California City is the size of the city of Los Angeles, but most of it's just dirt. So it was tooled to have a huge population, and the primary employment there is a for-profit prison. I've passed it on my way out state, and that prison has been there for a very long time. But what you what you need to do is you need to take the infrastructure because most of our recyclables never get recycled. I think it's something like 20% actually get recycled because we just don't have the infrastructure for what's left. So what I propose we do with California City is install that infrastructure so that we can recycle just about anything. I'm talking everything from a power plant with a furnace that burns garbage to the massive chippers we need for the blades of windmills, and just go out there and say, if it exists, we're going to find a way to recycle it in California City because they've got so much space they could build anything. All right. And you can't have tourism in California City because of the prison. There's actually a thing that says, whatever you do, don't pick up hitchhikers. So that's just one of those things that if we took a lot of the industrial base from California's major city, Los Angeles, and moved that out to California City, we would have a cleaner city in Los Angeles for tourism, and would have industry in California City. So we could move a lot of the population that can't get a job here in Los Angeles down to California City. And once that happens, they'll be happy and have jobs, and the cost of living will be lower. And then we in Los Angeles will also be happy because our cost of living will be lower, and we'll be able to get jobs because there won't be as much competition. It's just, it's one of those things, one of those ideas. Maybe not the greatest idea in the world, but it is an idea. You know, I don't know. One of the things I asked the governor once in a letter was, why don't we use tanker trucks to fight fires? It's a good idea. Yeah, well, I think so. So do you, Robert. And the truth is, we do use tanker trucks to fight fires. They're called tenders. Okay. But the question about the tenders we use to fight fires is, are they specifically designed to be fire tenders? Or do we just contract any tanker truck we can get our hands on? Because one of the big things we happened with the fire here is that there was just no water, and we have a fleet of fire tenders bringing water to the fire trucks, but it's just not big enough. And they brought fire trucks down from all over, but I think they only brought fire trucks, so that just means there are more firefighters spraying water and less people to deliver that water, which is not a good combination. There are five of us now. That includes me and Bear. Oh, happy little bear. I think my cats are gathering. I can hear the destruction. All right, guys. So, is it time to wrap it up? Uh, I mean, I can keep going for maybe another 20, 30 minutes, but it seems like there's just not a lot of interest. We've dropped down to four, so it's Robert and somebody else, Bear and I. And I mean, okay, I've stopped watching on this computer. Oh, that one didn't count, I guess. Or maybe it didn't register. Oh, starting to get a little phlegmy myself. So, no, no, there are two of you left. Who wants me to keep talking? All right. It looks like none of you do. That's fine. Like I say, the last time I did this, it was 2 hours, but it looks like we're done. You know. So Robert, thank you for watching. Whoever else is watching, thank you for watching. But I think everybody's kind of gotten tired, so I'm gonna go get some cat food for my animals, and you folks have a safe night, and keep me in your thoughts because I don't want my house to burn down. I'm Richard.